Story tonight, though, an assurance that the government is committed to rebuilding $52 billion taken from the reserves to prop up an economy battered by the coronavirus. But this isn't required by law, and how quickly it's paid back depends on how the situation evolves. Now, that was Deputy Prime Minister Heng Keat's response to questions on when the government would return the funds taken from the coffers for support packages during the COVID-19 pandemic. He was wrapping the debate on the Fortitude budget, Singapore's fourth budget in 3 months.
This current crisis is of a significantly larger scale and reach than the global financial crisis. We are facing huge uncertainties regarding the cause of the pandemic and its economic and social implications. We do not know. What we do know is that there will likely not be a V-shaped recovery, unlike in past crises. And the amount that we're tapping on is $52 billion. So how long would it take to build this back? We cannot be definitive. At this moment, we must focus our minds fully on making the best use of the resources that we have deployed, be prepared to work hard in the years to come, and have the resolve to rebuild our economy. In this way, the Singapore economy can emerge stronger and will be in a strong position to build up our resources. But rest assured that we are committed to rebuild not just our reserves, but also to continue developing Singaporeans and building Singapore.
And when it came to the size of past reserves, Mr. Heng said that it can't be revealed because doing so is like giving away valuable intelligence to adversaries. Still, MPs asked if President Halimah Yacob was let in on the size of the reserves. For context, according to the law, the government had to ask her for in-principle support to dip into those funds.
It is public information that under our Constitution, the President has access to information about the size of reserves. Under Article 22F of the Constitution, in the exercise of a function under the Constitution, the President is entitled to any information regarding the reserves. In addition, on the MOF website, it is already mentioned that the President has full information about the size of the reserves. In the process of seeking President's approval, the government has conducted 2 briefings to President and the Council of Presidential Advisers. These briefings cover the government's assessments of the global and local health and economic situations, the details of the measures, and the resources needed. In our system, the President is the custodian of our past reserves. She needs to concur with any draw, and her decision is made in full knowledge of why the draw is necessary and the size of our reserves.
MPs also suggested making use of low interest rates right now to borrow cash and spend. But Mr. Heng said it's not a given that the country can repay the accumulated debt obligations in future, especially with an uncertain economic outlook. The government will consider borrowing only for long-term major infrastructure that will benefit many generations.
Borrowing for such development allows us to spread costs equitably across current and future generations, without the need for sharp increases in taxes. As announced in Budget 2019, the government will guarantee the borrowing by Changi Airports Group to fund the development of Changi East, including Terminal 5. In this way, we leverage the strength of the government's balance sheet to reduce borrowing costs. The debt repayments will be made during a period when the airport will be generating economic returns.
But Mr. Heng also said those benefiting right now must contribute, and that's even as he warned against burdening future generations with bills. He called this a, quote, principled fiscal strategy needed for sustainable investments into healthcare, education and infrastructure.
Recurrent spending should be met with recurrent revenues. Such spending primarily benefits the current generation of Singaporeans, and so it is fair and responsible for all of us to do our part and chip in. In the Unity Budget, I announced that the GST rate increase will not take effect in 2021. However, we will not be able to put off the increase indefinitely, and this will still be needed by 2025. With this differentiated and principled fiscal strategy, each generation rightly pays for the benefits that they enjoy, and we do not saddle future generations with our bills. This is an equitable approach and will continue to be the cornerstone of fiscal sustainability for Singapore.